Okay, we can get started.
Let's do it.
My name is Em. I'm a member of Lino Kino. Lino Kino is a Philadelphia-based media arts collective. We have a really wide range of programming or things that we do in like non-COVID times. We do in-person screenings and curated events, and now we are kind of floating in an in-between space where we're doing lots of different things.
Yeah. My name is Michael, also a member of Lino Kino. And yeah, we're pretty much just existing in the digital realm now, like a lot of people. So welcome to the program. We are having an artist discussion with Boothe Carlson today. You can view Boothe's video Fantastic on the ICA Open Video Call website. And we should also mention that we have closed captions today provided by Stacy, who's been doing a fantastic job at all these events providing closed captions. So if you go to the bottom of your screen, click the closed caption button, hit show subtitles, they should show up in the bottom of your screen. And they are live, up to the minute, fantastic, and you can follow along. And Natalie just posted a video to the website, so you can check out Boothe's video if you haven't seen it. We highly recommend it. It's really great work. And yeah, let's just get things started.
Whoa.
Where are you right now?
So I'm in my car.
Yeah, let's start with that.
I'm in Hangtown, California. I guess it's actually technically, like, the name of it is Placerville, but it used to be called Hangtown, and they petitioned to change it at some point because Hangtown is obviously a very morbid, scary, terrible name for the place.
Yeah, it's a rough name for a town.
How recently did they change it? Do you know?
Yeah, 1850. I just looked it up recently. Nice. It's like insane here because we're in the middle of a heat wave, and it's been over 100 degrees for like the last 5 days, and I feel like the entire, like, just everyone is like, it's a molassesy week. Like, everyone is just moving slowly, and there's also like a fire in the Tahoe forest, but it's like nobody's been hurt. But like the sky is very hazy, and the sun is like a bright red, so it's just like a very weird environment. Like, it feels like I'm on an alien planet right now.
Sounds ominous.
Yeah, it's kind of, look, you could even call it cinematic, maybe, since we're talking about videos, but yeah, it's definitely a little bit ominous too.
Mm-hmm.
But it's beautiful. The sun is like just a bright neon red, and I think I've probably spent like about 10 minutes in the last 2 days just staring directly into it.
Wow.
But I feel fine, so.
Nice.
Yeah.
Who's in the back seat?
I got my dog. Tuco.
What's his name?
He's Tuco.
Aww.
My parents named him.
So
I think
cute.
I wanted to name him Breakfast, but they really didn't go for that.
Respectfully declined.
Yeah, they were like, no. Okay, I'm just going to show you this real quick. I don't know if you can see this bar, but there's a literal dummy hanging from it. Did you see it? Did I fuck up?
Yeah, we saw that.
Okay, cool.
Is that like the town mascot?
That's really sinister.
Yeah, it's been there. I think my family started coming up here like 10 years ago, maybe even more than that, but it's just been the same dummy there. It's probably just like filthy.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah, I was reading it was they called it Hangtown because there were lots of miners because it was obviously during the gold rush, lots of miners had lots of new wealth and they were getting robbed. And I guess back then that was just the solution to all these robberies was they just hanged people.
Yeah. That's funny. I looked up the Wikipedia last night so I would have things to talk about today. But like on the Wikipedia page, it was just like, in 18 whatever, 3 gunslingers waltzed into town and caused a ruckus or something. It was like the vaguest terms.
Nice.
And they were, persecuted and sentenced to death.
Damn.
But yeah, it was just kind of like funny how vague they were with that information.
Yeah, seriously. There's probably a lot more to that, but I wonder why it got left off Wikipedia.
I know. What's left off Wikipedia?
True. Maybe it just doesn't make Stockton look very good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So how's Philadelphia now that I've been gone for a little bit?
Yeah, it's funny. There are a number of open video call artists who were living in Philadelphia at the beginning of the program and now are no longer living in Philadelphia.
Yeah.
And yeah, there's been a little bit of a migration happening, but it's hot. Definitely hot.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
The Chick-fil-A's are crowded.
The Chick-fil-A's are crowded. But, you know, things seem as normal as they can, you know, these days. Lots of masks. Yeah. I don't know.
Yeah.
Just kind of like.
That's a pretty general question on my part.
Okay.
As I was asking it, I was like, I would hate to answer that question if it was posed.
Yeah, how's Stockton?
I'm actually in Placerville.
Oh,
You said that
Placerville,
before, and I didn't really want to correct you.
Sorry, I made that mistake. I don't know why.
It's okay. I just
Stockton, Placerville.
Yeah.
Are they even
Stockton is
close
in
to each other?
California.
Yeah, it is in California, but I don't know where.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know off the top of my head.
Mm-hmm. Fair. So where are you driving?
I just drove down the road a little bit because I wanted to show you guys the Hangtown dummy, and now I'm parked because I'm pretty distracted when I'm driving.
Fair.
So I wanted
Maybe can't do this.
that I can't what?
The video conferencing and driving.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's tough. I know. We were yeah. There's like so much credit I want to give to YouTube vloggers who just like do the whole thing in their car and like make it look so easy.
Oh yeah.
Like they can just film like 20 minutes of talking while driving, and
Yeah.
I feel like if I were
skill.
to do that, it would just be like, I don't know, just horrible blabber.
Mm-hmm. Well, yeah, you got to get the practice. You have to vlog for like 3 hours a day for years and years. Like,
Yeah, you can do it, I think.
Yeah.
yeah.
Maybe this is a new practice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah, you said you've been watching a lot of vlogs, right?
Yeah, that's something I got into during quarantine. I enjoy them a lot. I don't think it's something I want to keep doing because I think it like, at first I was like, oh, this is so interesting, like how they're using video and it's like a new medium. But we were kind of talking about this, I feel like my brain just like completely turns off. Like it's kind of like listening to a podcast, but I'm not getting there's nothing to grasp onto. Like I could never talk to somebody and be like, oh yes, I was watching this vlog, like lifestyle vlogger, and she started drinking green tea in the morning instead of coffee because it made her sluggish. You know, like I don't really.
Yeah, totally.
Like I don't think it's improving me at all.
Yeah. A friend of mine got a concussion a while ago, and he had like an incredibly restricted like amount of media consumption afterwards. Like he couldn't read, he wasn't allowed to like read books, he wasn't allowed to like look at a screen, nothing on. So he would just listen to, and he also like wasn't allowed to like challenge himself, like nothing mentally.
Gotcha.
So he just listened to like really mundane like podcasts or like TV shows like without video and like in his room, and I was like, that's one of the saddest things I think I've
Yeah.
Just like baseline stimulation.
Exactly.
Yeah, no highs.
No highs or lows.
No lows either. Yeah.
Yeah. Do you know if by the end of that he was like really well rested, or like I don't know, like I just wonder how like your stress level is coming out of that.
I think that he was probably stressed about getting stressed.
Yeah,
That's
that might be true.
hard to maintain that level like at all. Like, you know, the consequences are pretty high, right? Like, so. But,
True.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I've always wondered about that with the concussions. Like how do you do that? I mean, do you just like, I always imagine the only way to do it is to just like lie in a dark room. just like with a like one of those like eye cover things that they have on airplanes, you know. Just like,
I think that's like what they want you to do. like if you can do that, that's probably the best.
Probably the ideal.
Yeah.
I have been like digging the vlogs though also. I don't know. I think that like quarantine media can be like classified its own way, you know?
Yes.
Like quarantine media.
Yeah, high volume of content is good when you have so many hours in the day to occupy.
Yeah, someone I knew was talking about how like it's interesting that like celebrities now, I guess like maybe like celebrities in a more classic form, like movie stars and like, you know, people who do music and stuff, like they are kind of clamoring for fame in a different way because they don't have any sort of like, you know, their normal outlets. So they're like kind of doing other things, but it kind of is astounding to me because I feel like I'm looking at media more now than I ever have before.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it's kind of weird because I feel like, I mean, I definitely have too, but as far as like creating like whatever art content or anything, I feel like really like stuffed up. Like I think it's been harder. It's really easy to feel really far from yourself when you're like consuming a high amount of like Instagram, like social media kind of stuff like that. Because it's just really distracting. I don't know. I guess I've just been kind of feeling pretty far from myself or like my thoughts since quarantine started.
Yeah.
When you like were making Fantastic, did that like, was that before you kind of had these like these feelings, or was this like a process, like a processing like tool for you or something like that?
Yeah, I think that I just was like feeling so like, again, like stuffed up. I just like, I hadn't made a video in so long, and I felt like everything I made I hated, or I would like stop immediately because I hated it. And I was just like, this, like, you just need to like who cares, just make something, it doesn't fucking matter, you know. And it's like, you know, like obviously there are references to there's like coronavirus imagery in it, and like with the masks and everything, but I don't think it was, I mean, that was just the reality of what was around me at the time and like around everyone. And I think it can be kind of daunting to use stuff like that right now because it feels like you have to have something big to say. But I mean, this is just like what we're going through, and it feels kind of good to just make something that's like related to it, because if nothing else, it's just going to be a time capsule.
Absolutely.
You know, and you can look back on it yourself. And I kind of wish I don't know. I'm curious, like, in this period, have you guys been journaling a lot or like filming anything, or do you feel like less inclined to do that right now?
Michael, passing to you.
Yeah, I've been, I know we actually, like I had so sporadically journaled over the years. And then I think, I don't know, like 6 months ago, we were talking about journaling and how you've always done it really consistently. And that kind of was the first, like that was kind of like a spark for me. And I started doing it consistently after that. And actually I have been like doing it pretty regularly, which is something cool. I've never done before, but it's, I mean, it's great. It's honestly been like, I've realized how, well, it's become kind of crucial to me in a way. Like, you know, I never did it before. And now I realize like, why wasn't I doing this? Like, how was I not doing this? How was I not just like sitting down periodically to like organize my thoughts, put them down on paper, kind of get all my just random disjointed things in my head, like out of my head in a place where they're somewhat organized. So I have been doing that. And actually, like, again, honestly, I think I can credit you personally as the person who got me to do that.
Well, you're welcome.
Yeah, thank you.
That's cool. I mean, I feel like the opposite. Like in the last few months, I feel like I've stopped. Yeah, like I was kind of bummed. I looked at my journal the other day and I was just like flipping back and I was like, damn, like this whole time, all this crazy shit has been going on. I just haven't been writing. But I mean, good on you for having, like, it's going to be so cool to reread that. And I don't know.
But I get
it's
it.
also
though.
probably just good in the moment, processing everything.
Yeah, exactly. But also like overstimulation, you can't discount that, how much that can like fry you to really fry your desire to do anything productive or creative.
Yeah.
Like almost too hot to handle or something to try to like put it into like discursive form or something.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I like was filming a lot in the like height of quarantining, like in March and April and May.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't really know what I was shooting. I was just bored out of my mind, and I was just like entertaining myself with like whatever camera I could find, and mostly it was like a phone or like a webcam or something like that. And I didn't think it was anything, and I talked to Boothe about that. I didn't think it was anything at all, but I like started looking back on it, and I was like, oh wait, maybe this is something. Like maybe there's something here.
Mm-hmm.
I kind of like have never made anything in that way before, but it feels like the content is just like so like raw. Like it's just like this was just like pure emotion that I was feeling at the time.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Which is just it's really crazy what those experiences of like immense containment like.
What were you filming?
I was filming me and my partner and our close friends dancing and everything.
Nice. In isolation? Yeah, that sounds great.
Yeah. I mean, like, I don't know. It's like a beautiful, I feel like I had a situation in Philly where I was living with like a lot of people, and it felt very like, I felt close to them before, but I feel close to them in a different way, where we were just like so, you just went through it together, and like I was talking to one of my roommates the other day about just like the day, because it was really just a day when everything shut down and they were like stay-at-home orders and stuff like that, and just how crazy it was in processing everything. And then later on, when like going to marches and stuff with that same group of people, and just kind of like just again like processing it, just you're constantly talking about like the day and like what happened that day, and like I don't know, it felt it's cool that you captured that, because I feel like it's important. Like I think that it's really important for, I don't know, I mean, like I guess we're all constantly documenting. I don't know if there needs to be more push for people to document their lives, but maybe like trying to document, and I don't know, like, is it important to even document anything? Like, I'm gonna completely swerve. Is it important to document anything right now?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I've always been an obsessive video taker. So, I have like a very large personal archive of just phone videos going back at this point to when I first got a smartphone. And a lot of it is it's not so much like a factual documentation. Like that's not, I realize, and this is not intentional, but this is kind of what I realized like after the fact, that it's not really a factual documentation of what's happening in my life, but it's more of kind of just like an emotional record in a weird way, because it'll just be like these little snippets of things, and I'll look back on them and be like, why did I think this was interesting? Why did I think this was like worthwhile? It'll be like, just the most random things that I saw on the street like 5 years ago, just like walking around. And then and I'll look back on it and be so kind of perplexed. It'll almost seem like it was like I don't even recognize the person who would have been compelled to take that video. And yet I have it as proof that like, at one point I was compelled to do that. And I did think that was really interesting. And so now
thread, like a clue, like to the thread of like some sort of, person that you were, or like an idea that you had. It's not the whole thing. It's just like a way into it or something.
Yeah. Which is spontaneity, I think is also, that's why spontaneity is so great, because again, even like you were saying, Boothe, it's like it's not about like, it's just about making something in the moment. Like if you can kind of turn off that critical sensibility and just make something, even if you don't like it now, in 6 months, you might look back on it and it has a completely new depth to it that you never saw before, or you could have a completely new perspective on it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think, yeah. And like kind of working, like just making something and not thinking too hard about it, but kind of forcing yourself to finish it, I feel like can help you just think through whatever impulse you had to originally film, or like whatever idea was kind of driving it. Like even if you lose steam on it, just pushing it like a little bit further, I think can be really helpful, just in like kind of like, I think a lot of times when I shoot things, like they feel really random or like just not that important at the time, or like immediately after I'll just be like, what is this? Like, is this interesting? But then if I'm kind of like push myself to like work with it and look at it more and make something out of it, I think that's like when it gets good and it feels like you're learning things, you know, or I don't know, yeah, like that's when it feels good to make art, I guess.
Yeah.
It's when you've pushed yourself kind of to think about it more, I guess. But I don't know, I think it's also like, think about art, don't think about art, make it like spend a long time, or don't. Like it just feels good to make things sometimes, but I don't know, I'm so split. I go through periods where I'm just like, I don't think making art is important, and oh man, I'm just like, I'm getting kind of embarrassed now because I know people are watching. And I like
okay, there's no one there.
I don't have
it's
like
just
a
the three
philosophy,
of us.
and I'm like, I find myself talking about this like have some kind of like I've thought through or have like I know, like I don't know anything, you know, and that's what's cool about making art, is like you don't know anything and you don't have to, and you learn stuff by just like fucking around. And
yeah, and you learn to understand your instincts better, I think.
Yeah.
Part of it, you know, is I don't think that, I don't know, there's so many like highly professionalized artist talks where people, you know, proclaim that they've got it, you know, they found out how they do it and what they do. But I think it's also important to have things change too, and to like be open in that way. I don't think that you have to like land and package yourself. I think part of it is also just like this idea that you need to like almost like brand yourself or something, where you have to like have a solid like, you know, line to like your expression or something.
Yeah.
I guess
no, go on.
Yeah, I guess I'm just kind of, I find myself, and about anything, like really wanting to sound like I know what I'm talking about, like especially, I mean, going back to just like the news, like I'll read, it's just like something I want to kind of like be aware of and call myself out on, because like I can like hear a snippet of news and all of a sudden like I'm telling my friends like with authority that I like know what's going on and stuff like that. And I find that impulse all over the place, like with anything, where I'll have like the littlest amount of information and I just want to like, I want it to be more, or like I want to know, you know, and I want to tell people, and it's just like, where's that coming from? Like, I think it's a very natural thing to do, but it's just like, I don't know, I guess I just want to notice my bullshit more, you know, and not, like, I don't know anything. And I know that I don't know anything. And it feels good to say that and be okay with it and just kind of keep moving.
Yeah, I mean, that's definitely an interesting perspective. I think in the time of like, you know, podcasts and YouTube explainers and like hyper packaged content that kind of comes to you in this way that's saying like, here's everything you need to know. Here's like, watch this 5 minutes video and then you know everything. And then you can just go out and like repeat these things authoritatively as if you've had some kind of like in-depth like exploration of these ideas. But really it's just that it's kind of like, that's just this new mode that people have of like producing tons of content that's done in a really authoritative voice and yet is like extremely surface level and kind of is just meant to like catch you and like hook in your brain, but not really get any depth in there.
Yeah, I agree. But I'm also thinking about the times where like I'll like see a bunch of like memes on a particular subject and I'm like, oh, I get it.
Yeah. Well, memes are different. A much purer form of art than YouTube videos.
Yeah, I don't know about the memes. Like, I like them, but I feel like I always see memes so much late. Like, I don't think I follow the good meme blogs. Like, I always see things way later, and I think they're funny, and I'll like send them to people, and they've always already seen them.
Oh yeah, the meme industrial complex. It's hard to keep up.
My brother doesn't have any social media. He doesn't have like Facebook or Instagram or anything. And like sometimes he'll tell me about a meme, and I'm like, "How did you get this? Did someone mail it to you?
Someone print it out and show it to you?"
You're like holding it up to your dog. You're like, "Where did you get this?"
Exactly.
He's like chewing on his sweater. Like,
and how does he? How does he see them? Does he ever explain?
To him, this sounds mean that I'm like really throwing him under the bus like that, but it made me laugh.
There's something really beautiful about a printed out meme.
Yeah.
Like, I think we should all print out more memes.
Exactly.
And distribute them. Like, like, I don't know, my grandma doesn't have an email, you know? Like, somebody should print out a meme for her.
Totally.
I don't have a printer, but somebody should.
Yeah. And the public libraries are closed.
Yeah.
Well, how's your grandma going to find out about memes?
Yeah. I did get an email from the Philadelphia. I had so many books on hold, and I got an email. I don't live in Philly anymore, and I got an email, and they were like, "Hey, Boothe, do you want to come pick up the books that you put on hold?" And I was like, "Yeah, I'd love to, but I can't." So, yeah, I don't think you can't go in them though, right?
I don't think so. Can't say I've tried, but
yeah, I mean, it's probably good, but
they are a lot of like online programming and things like that. My mom did a cooking class. And
a cooking class?
And they mailed her the ingredients.
Whoa. That's tight.
I know.
Wow.
Yeah.
Last night. It was really fun.
Impressive. What did she make?
It was like it was like very, like, it was some sort of massive salad that had like tons of cayenne.
Massive salad. They send her like 6 bags of lettuce.
And then like a full size like apple cider vinegar and a full size honey.
Whoa.
Wow, that's useful. That's like you can make tonics with that, I think. I mean, it sounds like you could make a tonic out of it.
Man, that sounds great.
Yeah.
Still going strong.
Very impressive.
Also, just like if we are plugging public library resources, if you don't have a Canopy account, you should really make one. Oh yeah. Because it's amazing. It's like an online streaming service, but they have like Criterion movies and like a lot of short film, a lot of cool documentaries, I feel like.
Yeah. For free if you are a member of the public library.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, Canopy's great. I feel like a lot of people, I mean, again, spending a lot of time at home, people have really been discovering all the streaming services big time.
Yeah. I made a Criterion collection streaming account recently. It's been cool.
Yeah. It's good. They finally figured it out. I remember there was what was it? Filmstruck, I think. Their big selling point was they had tons of Criterion stuff, but their video player was awful. It was terrible. Like you couldn't watch anything, and now it like finally works. It took 2 or 3 tries, but finally there's like a Criterion streaming service. Yeah.
That's cool. Do people I feel like Zoom is kind of a cool opportunity. Like if you have a streaming service, like just making like a giant Zoom call and like screening movies, you know, like screen sharing whatever movie you're watching, and then like everyone can see these movies that you have to pay $8 a month for.
Yeah. I haven't watched any movies on Zoom or anything with people, but I have some friends who've done that a lot. And they'll all like sync it up and like hit play at the same time. They don't do screen share. They just like load it up on their computer and then just like, and then so everyone's like kind of looking off like this in the video, and then they like look over at each other every once in a while.
Mm-hmm. That sounds cool. I did some Zoom, oh, you gotta put on your seatbelt. Yeah, I did some Zoom video things, but we didn't have everyone muted, so everyone was like kind of talking over the movie at once, and it was like eventually the person I was watching it with just like turned everyone on mute, so it just kind of like took the experience out of it, or the experience of being with other people. Yeah. So I don't know if it works for me, but
yeah, man, that sounds great though. Honestly, like I even miss like people talking in the movie theater, you know? I would love to be in a movie theater full of people just like barely watching the movie, just like saying random shit.
Do I turn right here? Yeah, I was watching a movie the other day and people were watching a movie in the movie, and I was like, there's just something about being in a black room, and like the scene that did it was somebody opened the door to the movie theater when the movie had already started and like walked down the aisle to their seat, and I was like, that it just like hit something inside of me that I wanted to experience again.
Yeah.
I wanted to ask a fantastic related question before we timed out. Not that I don't love art, like people will be watching. But I wanted to know if you could talk more about the sound of the score that you made, and like how you made it and why you decided to do it yourself. And I don't know, I love it so much.
Thanks. Yeah, I think that sound is something that I kind of generally like tends to be an afterthought, and like I think with that footage, like I was just kind of, it's something that I don't really think about that often, but every time I do start to play with, it's so much fun, and like I feel like it kind of makes, I love sound. Specifically for Fantastic, a lot of it was, I had a microphone and I was just messing around with like, really just like touching the mic and stuff like that, and kind of, I didn't really want to, well, mostly I guess probably because I was lazy, but I would like just do it all with just the mic and my fingers, but yeah.
What was that? Sorry, it glitched out a little bit.
Oh, sorry, I'm on the highway now, sorry. Those are open.
Impressive.
All the sound for that movie was just, like, a lot of it was me hitting the keyboard on, I just called it a movie, the 2-minute video we're talking about, the video. Was just me hitting my fingers on the keyboard and making mouth sounds into the mic and then kind of, like, looping them.
Nice.
Cool.
Yeah. I think, I personally like think of you as, you know, a video filmmaker person, as like you're equally that as much as you are a musician. Like you do, you know, you perform live music, play in bands, all that stuff. So I think it's it makes a lot of sense that your soundscapes and your videos are so interesting. And really, I think you put as much thought into them as the video itself.
Yeah, I think that there's something really nice about making sound for videos, because it's really freeing. Mm-hmm. Sorry, I'm getting directed to a spot that I've never been to before by this person.
Hello.
He can't hear you.
Oh, true. Headphones.
But yeah, it's. Can you ask?
I was going to ask another kind of traditional question, but since you have had kind of like bookends on your time in Philadelphia. I was wondering if you like had any thoughts about how like living there influenced your practice, or like influence like your perspective on like art making, or what the experience of living in Philadelphia kind of did for you in that way.
Well, I think just like being a part of Lino Kino and like seeing so many videos by like, there's just so many talented people in Philly, and like for people who aren't familiar with Lino Kino, we did a lot of screenings where people would just come and show whatever they're working on, and it feels so good to see just to see what people are working on, like any type of thing, even if it's sort of like something they filmed in their room or like something that they put a lot of work into. Because I think it's hard to seek out video work, especially like amateur video work or just stuff that's not, I mean, like video art in general isn't something that's like super accessible or easy to find online. At least I don't think it is for myself. But just like seeing people around me who are working and making cool things, like it's just invigorating, and it's sick. And it makes it's like, yeah, it's cool. I don't know if that answered the question, but
it was like it's really interesting to think about like your time in reflection so quickly after you haven't been gone very long, but it's really also like, I'm curious about how spaces and like certain like.
Yeah. Can you get an Oreo milkshake? Sorry, we're at a drive-through. Can you say that again?
And a chocolate milkshake. A strawberry. Oreo and strawberry.
Oreo and a strawberry, all right.
Please.
Anything else for you today?
No, just that.
Where'd you go?
Can you say that again?
Just that.
We're at a Carl's Jr.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice. All right, back to the art talk.
Yes.
Oh no, I wasn't really saying anything. I was just thinking about music scenes or like art scenes like can play a role in people's work, and like how that is kind of a huge like influence, not always listed,
Yeah. I think that just to like shout out like other artists in Philly, I feel like my friend Cherry, who does a lot of work with Chrissy Talking Pictures, like they're just like constantly working on stuff and putting together, much like Lino Kino, like putting together events and stuff, and like seeing what they make has been really inspiring, and like how they kind of go about creating a community and like space for showing video art has been really cool. Like it's just, I feel like in the time that I lived in Philly, there were so many different people that I met and like things that I saw like just appear that were video related, and I don't know, it's really cool. Like Michael, I don't know, you kind of had the idea for Lino Kino and have put so much time into it and like watered it into what it is now. Do you feel, I don't know, how do you feel about the Philadelphia art scene and how it's like influenced you?
I mean, I think it's great. I think really the model was always DIY music scenes. Like I grew up around that. I grew up in a town that had like a really active DIY punk scene, and it was just seeing how productive and creative people were with literally zero resources from a very young age inspired me. And then when I got into video and kind of learning about this kind of like whole art world side of filmmaking, I kind of just thought like, why doesn't that exist for these mediums and formats? Why isn't it as accessible as just going to see like a DIY band? So that was really it. Yeah, it should be as easy as going to see a show, like a music show. I think
also like the energy that going to an actual show brings, like it's so like it's cool to have that for video, like to go to a place and sit with other people and see things and like feel that energy and feel inspired and go home and be psyched about it. Like I think that before Yeah.
They're not these people that are like, you know, so far away that you don't have any like relations. Like your, you know, your friend or your friend's roommate, or like, you know, or
Exactly.
there's not like a huge like barrier, you know.
Yeah.
Totally.
It's definitely about like closing the gaps. I don't know, you know, no chasm, right? You could like bring the two sides together, like the audience and the makers.
Like welcoming and accessible and has all those like you know, those elements and that kind of stuff. I feel like that's when it's like really awesome. That's when it's like it does that.
Exactly.
Always.
But yeah, there has always been something cool to me, especially, and again, it always just goes back to going to see like bands play in basements or whatever. But when, you know, like the entire lineup is also in the audience, like all the performers are in the audience as well, and it's totally interchangeable, right? Like I remember going to shows when I was a kid. I remember like, you know, playing a show where and I'm sure everyone who's played in bands has had this experience where the musicians outnumber the audience, right?
Yeah.
And you basically form your own audience. You've got 4 bands going and you all just kind of like switch places.
Yeah, it's funny too, like that being the initial idea for Lino Kino, and just realizing how hard it is to actually find places that you can put on a screening, you know, like with video. It's like with a band, you just need you just need like a space where people can stand, and like, you know, a bunch of outlets. We found it really challenging with just like chairs. Oh, huge problem if you're trying to do an indoor screening. Thank you so much.
You're welcome, and you guys have a great day.
Yeah, thank you.
What kind did you get?
Well, my passenger got a strawberry and I got an Oreo. And I'm excited to try because I've never gone to Carl's Jr. before.
Your video.
Boothe.
Oh no, I'm here.
Okay.
There you are.
I'm here. Yeah, and I'm parked too. So.
Milkshake, that's a bold choice.
It's
like
hot.
a pound of ice cream.
There you go. We probably should open up to Q&A, just because it's time to do that. If there are any questions from anyone who's been tuning in, or if there were questions before in the chat.
It's been pretty, chat's been a little quiet.
That's okay.
Boothe, does your passenger have any questions for you?
Do you prefer sunset or sunrise?
I've never seen a sunrise.
You've never seen a sunrise?
Mm-mm.
There you go.
There's your,
We've got our answer.
So I don't know what that means. I guess sunset. I prefer it because I've seen it. I prefer what you have. You have ice. He has whipped cream on his hat.
Nice.
Someone wants to know about the glue on your lips in Fantastic.
The glue. Yeah, it's funny. I like rewatched the video a few days ago and I hadn't like seen it in a long time. But I don't know, I guess like at the time, like honestly, I was just watching, like that was like so soon into coronavirus and everyone was like there were just all these home remedies and like the homemade hand sanitizer and stuff like that. And I feel like I definitely told people false information. Like I was like, oh, you know, like just my roommates and stuff, like sharing things that we read online and being like, oh, I heard this is good or whatnot. And I think I was just kind of like feeling like exaggerating that. And obviously it's not subtle at all. It's a pretty like, you know, I wasn't like
funny.
trying to be subtle at all with it.
Yeah, that's great.
But yeah, like just trying different homemade remedies, and also, you know, maybe I should just glue my lips shut at a certain point. What's the feeling?
Nice. Are you interested in seeing a sunrise? Another question.
100%, yeah. I definitely want to see a sunrise. I tried to see a sunrise, like, actually with Passenger one time, but we went on a cloudy day, and it was just, like, we just basically saw, like, the luminescence turn up. No sun, but just gradually getting lighter. It was still pretty, though.
Yeah.
Kind of silvery.
Nice.
And wants to know if you have any influences, who they are, what they are.
Yeah, I feel like when I was, especially like when I was in school, I really loved like kind of humorous like video art like Tony Ausler and Mike Kelly, Celia Condit. I really love. I feel like recently I've been watching a lot more like longer video. I've been watching movies and yeah, I don't know. I think like I tend to make really short things, maybe just because I don't have a good attention span, or I don't know. But I think I want to start kind of pushing into longer time, and I think I also just didn't really have the patience to watch movies when I was younger, and now I feel I'm ready to take my time more, and it feels good. I watched Once Upon a Time in the West last night, and that was a movie I had seen when I was younger because my dad's like a huge Western fan, and I watched it last night, and I was like, it was just the most incredible movie. It's beautiful, like it's so good, and the sound is so good, and like if you haven't seen it, you should watch it because it's just like it's really, I mean, it's just like it's incredible, but it's just so funny to me that I had seen it before when I was younger, and like I just didn't remember it. Like I don't know, like it went over my head somehow, which is insane because I think it's a masterpiece. So
yeah.
I really like that you're watching westerns while living in a old town.
Yeah, it felt right. It was like the movie itself, it looks so hot, and everyone's so sweaty and
so sweaty,
red, and like it's just been so balmy that it felt good to watch people who seemed like they were feeling the same as how my body felt.
And they're all wearing like long pants and like leather chaps and ponchos.
Yeah.
Wild.
Like this one guy,
How did they
I was
do
actually Passenger one brought up earlier that one guy got shot in the beginning of the movie, like in his shoulder, and it was never mentioned again. Like he was just like a rough and tumble cowboy, and like he could handle it, but he also never changed his outfit. Like he was wearing the same shirt the whole time, so like it was just never it was just never treated, I would assume.
Yeah.
So, or cleaned.
Rough and tumble for sure.
You guys haven't asked us about our
How are they?
yet.
Yeah, give us ratings and reviews.
Natalie's gonna share the poll.
Fantastic. Yeah, there'll be a poll coming up for closed captions, and then there'll be a link as well for an open video call poll. You should all fill out to give ICA vital info.
The strawberry's good.
Strawberry's good? But how does it compare to the Oreo?
I actually haven't tried the Oreo. I was trying to suck it down when we were talking, but I
Great, this time I want to know.
Yeah, people want to know.
It's good. It's like very blended. Like there aren't chunks in it, right? Right?
That seems kind of disappointing.
Yeah.
I'm okay with it. So I didn't realize you were posing that as a question. I thought you were just like, seems disappointing. I'm okay with it. It's so hot out.
Yeah.
Feels good. Pretty much anything would, I think.
Yeah.
Are there any other questions before we wrap it up?
Are there any other movies on your list you're gonna watch? Some more westerns?
Yeah, I would like to watch more movies at the same time. Like the thing is, my dad's like a huge Western fan, so I've seen them all, but I just want to rewatch all of. Fuck, is his name Sergio? What's his name?
Sergio
Sergio
Leone.
Leone.
Yeah.
Leone.
Yes.
Yeah, those are fun.
I want to kind of rewatch all of his movies, like Fistful of Dollars.
Nice.
Bad and Ugly.
But you were saying you're gonna watch. I think right at the beginning you were about to say you were gonna watch.
I'm gonna watch Beach Bum tonight.
Gotcha. I still haven't seen it. Yeah.
I made a face. I don't know. I haven't seen it all yet. I started it last night. I haven't really watched a lot of Harmony Korine's movies. I remember I liked Gummo when I saw it, but it was a long time ago.
Early, like freshman, senior year of high school, like freshman year of college.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah, I mean they're always fun. They're always interesting. That's for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's cool to just see like he's so free. Like just his movies are so free, and he kind of, I don't know. You're a bit Passenger One. I feel like probably has more to say about Harmony Korine than I do. If you feel like sharing anything, you can also say no.
Yeah, it just doesn't try to be profound or anything. I think it's just fun. It's just play. It's pure play, or at least like the Beach Bum and the later stuff, I guess.
Yeah.
Maybe Gummo is more fun.
Mm-hmm.
It's fun.
Yeah. It's that rare situation where just like someone has both the money and the freedom to make stuff like that, and then
that's true.
continues to be able to make stuff like that, you know, like has a sustainable career being just like a total freak, and it's always inspiring when that happens.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Well,
we got to wrap it up.
Yeah, that was great.
Yeah.
Any final thoughts, Boothe?
I think if I were to do this again, I had a hard time getting a milkshake and answering questions. I thought that was going to go smoother. But
tried something new.
Yeah. I would also probably turn the my screen option off so I can't see myself when I'm talking to you guys.
Well,
yeah.
Or the week after.
But those are next time I do a call night. No, just kidding.
Yeah. Well, it was great talking to you, Boothe.
Yeah. It was nice
Thanks for taking the time. Yeah. Nice to meet you, dog. Nice to meet you, passenger.
I know Tuco is really just not in it today, but
yeah.
It's okay. I'm tired. Right,
for everyone who's still here, we do have John Muse's video duet premiering on Monday, and then the artist discussion with John Muse will be next Wednesday, the 26th at 6 p.m. Same time, same site. You can find the link. Thank you, everyone, for coming.
Thank you.
Thanks for talking, Boothe.
Thank you so much. Bye, everybody.
And thank you to Stacy for captioning and Natalie and Derek from ICA for facilitating.
Thank you guys so much.
Yeah, that was great.
Thank you guys.
Yeah.
And then I'll leave for the Zoom call now. Bye.
Bye.